When billionaire Elon Musk notices a homeless man in a faded Tesla shirt in a San Francisco park, he pauses for what he expects to be a brief conversation, lasting just a few minutes. He has no idea that this chance encounter will forever alter both their lives. The homeless man, Wade Thornton, displays a surprising knowledge of rocket engineering and battery technology, catching Elon's attention. But what truly piques Elon's curiosity is a mysterious notebook Wade quickly hides away. Who is this man? How did someone so clearly educated end up on the streets? And what secrets might be concealed within those carefully guarded pages? What unfolds next will revolutionize Tesla's technology, challenge assumptions about human potential, and prove that sometimes the most brilliant ideas come from the most unexpected places. Elon Musk glanced at his watch and quickened his pace. He was running late for his next meeting, and his schedule today was packed tighter than a Tesla battery. The San Francisco sidewalk buzzed with the usual crowd of office workers, tourists, and locals. 5 minutes, he muttered to himself. I'll make it if I cut through the park. Elon veered left, taking a shortcut through a small green space that would save him precious time. The cool morning air brushed his face as he hurried along a path lined with benches. Most were empty at this hour, except for one. A man lay curled on his side, using a worn backpack as a pillow. His beard was unkempt, his hair long and tangled. His clothes looked clean but heavily worn. Elon might have walked past without a second glance. He'd seen homeless people in the city before, but something made him slow down. The man was wearing a faded black Tesla shirt. Elon stopped. The shirt was an early design, at least 3 or 4 years old, with a cracked and peeling red logo that was still unmistakable. Seeing his company's symbol on this man's back made Elon pause. The homeless man must have sensed someone nearby. He stirred, then sat up quickly, a flicker of fear crossing his face as his eyes focused on Elon. Sorry, the man said, his voice raspy but clear. I'll move along. No, wait, Elon said. Your shirt, it's a Tesla one. The man glanced down at his chest, as if surprised by what he was wearing. Then his eyes widened with recognition as he looked back at Elon's face. You're him, he said quietly. You're Elon Musk. Elon nodded. And you're wearing my company's shirt. The man ran a hand through his disheveled hair, suddenly self-conscious. It was in a donation bin, he said. Keeps me warm. He hesitated. Hope that's okay. Of course, Elon replied. He checked his watch again but found himself oddly reluctant to leave. Do you like Tesla? A smile spread across the man's weathered face, transforming it. His teeth were surprisingly white and even. Electric's the future, he said with unexpected enthusiasm. I used to work at a factory making parts for gas cars. Always thought we were on the wrong side of history. The smile faded. That was a long time ago. Elon felt a strange pull of connection to this man. What's your name? Wade, the man answered. Wade Thornton. I'm Elon, he said, then felt foolish for stating the obvious. I know, Wade said with a faint smile. Kind of a celebrity. An awkward silence settled between them, a billionaire and a homeless man, separated by a vast gulf of circumstance, yet linked by a simple logo on a cotton shirt. Wade broke the silence. I followed what you're doing with the cars and rockets. Pretty amazing stuff. There was something in Wade's eyes, a spark of intelligence, a genuine understanding, that caught Elon off guard. This wasn't just polite small talk, this man seemed to truly grasp the significance of the work. You know about rockets? Elon asked. About SpaceX? Sure, Wade replied. I read about Starship whenever I can get on a library computer. Reusable rockets change everything, make space travel scalable. Elon's phone buzzed in his pocket. His meeting, he was officially late now. I have to go, he said, reaching into his jacket. He pulled out his wallet, then paused. Something told him Wade wouldn't appreciate being handed cash. Instead, Elon retrieved a business card, something he rarely carried and even more rarely gave out. He handed it to Wade. "If you ever want to talk about electric cars or rockets, call this number. It goes to my assistant, but he'll get the message to me." Wade took the card carefully, as if it might crumble in his fingers. He stared at it, then looked up at Elon, confusion in his eyes. "Why?" he asked simply. Elon wasn't entirely sure himself. "I like talking to people who get the vision," he said finally. "Not everyone does." Wade nodded slowly, tucking the card into his jeans pocket with great care. "Thank you," he said. As Elon turned to leave, Wade reached for his backpack. The motion caused a tattered notebook to slip out and land on the bench. Elon caught a glimpse of the pages. They were filled with neat diagrams and calculations. "What's that?" Elon asked, pointing at the notebook. Wade quickly closed it and stuffed it back into his bag. "Nothing important," he said. "Just keeps my mind busy." His expression had shuddered, turning guarded. Elon nodded, not wanting to pry. "Take care, Wade." "You too, Mr. Musk." As Elon hurried to his meeting, his thoughts kept drifting back to the homeless man in the Tesla shirt. There was something in Wade's eyes when he spoke about technology, a clarity and passion that seemed out of place in his current situation. And that notebook. Elon's phone buzzed again, 3 messages from his assistant, wondering where he was. He pushed thoughts of Wade aside and focused on the day ahead. He had a company to run, deadlines to meet, a world to change. But even as he arrived at his meeting 15 minutes late, apologizing to a room full of executives, part of his mind lingered in that park, wondering about the man in the Tesla shirt. How did someone knowledgeable about rocket engineering end up on a park bench? And what was in that notebook he'd been so quick to hide? When the meeting ended an hour later, Elon had almost convinced himself to let the strange encounter go. People fall on hard times for countless reasons. It wasn't his job to fix every sad story he came across. But as his car pulled away from the curb, Elon found himself glancing back toward the park. The bench was already empty. Wade Thornton was gone, taking his secrets with him. What Elon didn't know, couldn't know, was that their paths were destined to cross again. And when they did, their lives would change in ways neither could have imagined. Wade Thornton watched the sleek black car disappear around the corner. He waited until it was out of sight before pulling Elon Musk's business card from his pocket. The heavy cream-colored paper felt out of place in his rough hands. Embossed black letters spelled out a name known worldwide, along with a phone number that likely fewer than 100 people had direct access to. What now? Wade whispered to himself. He carefully tucked the card into his notebook, the one place he knew it would be safe, then placed the notebook into a waterproof sleeve inside his backpack. That notebook held 5 years of his life, his ideas, his sketches, and most importantly, his hopes. Wade slung the backpack over his shoulder and started walking. He needed to get to a shelter on the other side of the city before all the beds were taken. As he walked, his mind drifted to another life, one without park benches or soup kitchens. 5 years ago, Wade Thornton had everything: a beautiful suburban home with a 2-car garage, a loving wife named Marissa who taught 2nd grade at the local elementary school, and a 4-year-old daughter, Lily, with curly brown hair and a laugh that could melt the hardest heart. He had a solid job as an engineer at Precision Auto Parts, designing components for car engines. Life was good, no, life was perfect. Until it wasn't. It started with Lily's headaches, minor at first, the kind parents chalk up to a growing child. Then came the nosebleeds, followed by the day she fainted at preschool. The diagnosis hit like a thunderbolt: leukemia. Wade and Marissa's world shrank to hospital rooms, medical jargon, and a constant, gnawing fear that pierced every moment. Their insurance covered some costs. But not all. Experimental treatments, the one specialists said offered the best hope, weren't covered at all. Whatever it takes, Wade told the doctors. We'll find a way to pay. And they did. They drained their savings, took out a second mortgage, maxed out their credit cards. Wade worked overtime, then took on weekend consulting gigs. Marissa tutored after school to bring in extra money. Through it all, Lily fought bravely. Her hair fell out from chemo, but her spirit stayed strong. "I'm like Daddy now," she'd said, rubbing her bald head against Wade's shaved one, giggling despite the dark circles under her eyes. After 8 months of treatment, a miracle happened. Lily went into remission. The cancer was gone. They celebrated at home with a small party, just the three of them, a homemade cake, and a single candle that Lily blew out with a wish: "I want us to be happy forever." 2 weeks later, Precision Auto Parts announced layoffs. Wade's department was eliminated, their components were now being made overseas. He lost his job. "It's okay," Marissa reassured him. "You'll find something else. You're amazing." But finding another engineering job proved harder than expected. The industry was shifting, companies were downsizing, and Wade's resume had a gap from the time he'd spent with Lily during her treatment. Bills piled up. Collection agencies called relentlessly. The bank sent foreclosure notices. Wade took any job he could find, stocking shelves, delivering packages, washing dishes, but it wasn't enough to keep up with the mountain of medical debt and the mortgage. The strain took a toll on their marriage. Arguments became routine, silence, even more common. "We can't live like this," Marissa finally said one night, after the electricity was shut off for the 3rd time that year. "My parents offered to let Lily and me stay with them until we get back on our feet." "In Ohio?" Wade asked quietly. "That was halfway across the country." "Just for a while," she promised, "until you find something stable." But while turned into months. Wade lost the house. He moved into a cheap apartment and kept looking for work, sending Marissa and Lily whatever money he could each week. Then came the phone call that shattered what was left of his world. "I think we need a break, Wade," Marissa said, her voice gentle but firm. "A real break. Lily needs stability." "I'm still looking for engineering jobs," he insisted. "I have ideas, big ideas. If I could just get someone to listen." "Wade," she interrupted softly, "it's been almost a year. Lily's in school now. She has friends. My parents love having her around. And me?" He thought. "I'm tired of waiting for things to get better," she added. The divorce papers arrived 3 weeks later. After that, Wade stopped trying as hard. When he couldn't pay rent, he didn't panic. When he ended up sleeping in his car, he told himself it was temporary. And when the car was repossessed, he found that park benches weren't so bad in good weather. Through it all, he kept his notebook. At the public library's free section, he read every article he could find on tech advancements, sketching ideas, solving problems no one asked him to solve. Page after page filled with drawings and calculations, his focus turned to batteries, more efficient ones that could power cars for longer distances and charge faster than anything on the market. When his old laptop finally died, he continued his work with pencil and paper, running complex calculations in his head. 6 months ago, Wade had tried calling Lily on her birthday. Marissa's father answered. "She's at a party," he said coldly. "Besides, you think it's good for a kid to talk to her homeless dad? Get your act together. Then maybe we'll talk about visitation." The word stung, but Wade couldn't argue with the truth. What kind of father was he now? What could he offer his daughter? So he poured himself into his notebook, into ideas that kept his mind sharp even as his body grew thin and his clothes wore out, into dreams that someone might one day see what he saw, the potential to change how we power our world. Now, walking the streets of San Francisco with Elon Musk's business card safely tucked in his notebook. Wade felt something he hadn't felt in years: possibility. That night, lying on a narrow cot in a crowded shelter, Wade stared at the ceiling. Should he call that number? What would he even say? "Hi, I'm the homeless guy from the park. Want to hear my ideas about battery tech? It sounded absurd. Yet, as he closed his eyes, he pictured Lily's face. She'd be 9 now. Did she remember him? Did she wonder where he was, what he was doing? I'll find my way back to you, he whispered into the darkness. Somehow. For 3 days, Wade carried Elon Musk's business card in his notebook, unable to decide. Each morning, he'd take it out, study the thick paper with its embossed letters, then carefully place it back between pages of equations and sketches. On the 4th day, Wade sat at his usual bench in the public library. He had 1 hour of computer time. Normally, he spent it reading tech news and researching battery advancements. But today, he opened a new tab and typed Elon Musk Tesla battery development. Thousands of results popped up, articles about gigafactories, Powerwalls, and something called Battery Day. Wade read for the full hour, barely blinking. When his time was up, he leaned back in the chair, lost in thought. Tesla was tackling many of the same battery issues he'd been addressing in his notebook. That night, Wade couldn't sleep. Ideas buzzed in his mind like electricity through wires. What if his designs could actually help? What if this chance encounter was his only shot? But another voice argued back, why would a billionaire care about a homeless man's notebook scribbles? He'd look insane, crazy. By morning, Wade had made up his mind. He'd call. The worst that could happen was nothing, and nothing was exactly what he already had. The library didn't open until 9, so Wade cleaned up as best he could in a gas station restroom. He brushed his teeth with his finger and some toothpaste, combed his beard with his fingers, and tied his hair back with a rubber band. His clothes were worn but clean, he'd washed them in the shelter's sink 2 days earlier. At exactly 9, he was waiting. When the librarian unlocked the doors, "Good morning, Mr. Thornton," Ms. Chen greeted. She knew many regulars by name. "Morning," Wade replied. "Can I make a call today?" The library kept an old landline at the reference desk for patrons, 3-minute limit if no one was waiting. Of course, Ms. Chen smiled. "No one's here yet, so take your time." Wade nodded gratefully and headed to the desk. With trembling fingers, he pulled Elon's card from his notebook and dialed the number. 1 ring, 2, 3. "This is Amber Patel, Mr. Musk's office." The woman's voice was brisk and professional. Wade's throat tightened. "Hi. My name's Wade Thornton. I met Mr. Musk in the park a few days ago, and he gave me this card, said I should call." A pause. "I see. And what's this regarding, Mr. Thornton?" Wade gripped the phone tighter. "We talked about Tesla and SpaceX. I have some ideas about battery technology one thought might interest him." Another pause, longer this time. Wade heard typing. "1 moment, please." Elevator music played. His heart pounded, he was sure she was calling security or finding a polite way to brush him off. Then a click. "Mr. Thornton, Mr. Musk is on the line. Connecting you now." Before Wade could process it, a familiar voice came through. Wade, the guy in the Tesla shirt. Elon sounded like he was moving, his voice slightly breathless. "Yes, that's me. I'm surprised you remembered. Hard to forget someone who understood both my companies. Look, I'm on a break. What's up?" Wade took a deep breath. "When we met, you noticed my notebook. It's got ideas, designs for improving batteries. I've been working on them for years. This might sound crazy, but I think they could help with range and charging speed issues." "Not crazy at all," Elon replied. "Battery charge limits are our biggest hurdle." "Where'd you come from?" "I was an engineer in auto parts manufacturing until things changed." Elon paused for a moment. "Then let's meet tomorrow. Nob Hill Cafe, 9 a.m. Know the place?" Wade thought for a second. "Yes, I can find it." "Bring your notebook." We'll grab coffee, talk batteries. I can give you 30 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Musk. I'm really grateful. It's Elon, and no promises. If your ideas are good, great. If not, no harm done. Either way, I'm curious. See you tomorrow. The line went silent. Wade froze, the phone still pressed to his ear, until Ms. Chen gently asked if he was done. Yes, he said, his voice sounding distant to his own ears. Yes, I'm done. Thank you. He stepped outside into the daylight. Had that really just happened? In 24 hours, he'd be sitting across from one of the world's richest men, showing him work he'd done on park benches and shelter cots. Suddenly, fear gripped him, his clothes, his appearance. He looked down at his faded jeans, worn flannel shirt, and shoes held together with duct tape. He couldn't meet Elon Musk looking like this. Wade reached into his pocket and counted his money, $23 and some change, all he had. Enough for a cheap haircut, maybe, or a new shirt from a thrift store, but not both. There was another option, though. The shelter he sometimes stayed at had a job interview closet, donated clothes kept for people with employment opportunities. He'd never used it before. This concludes our narrative journey. I trust you found this gripping saga of intrigue, cutting-edge innovation, and astonishing discoveries captivating. From where are you tuning in today? I'm curious to learn which corner of the globe this tale has touched. If this escapade held your interest, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for a steady stream of compelling, mind-expanding stories just like this one. Fresh material is posted frequently, ensuring you're always in the loop for the newest spellbinding adventures. Be sure to pass this video along to your loved ones and friends. It's a great way to share positivity and insight while expanding our circle of story enthusiasts. Your encouragement is invaluable. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to welcoming you back for the next tale.